Yeah, how's it going, guys? So I wanted to make a quick video and explain or just answer some of the questions that you guys asked. My name is Don, and this is my girlfriend Kaya. So I'm majoring in biology. So the one question you guys asked was study habits and just tips and tricks. Well, she's actually a psychology major, so I thought of bringing her, here, and she's going to be talking about some of her tips because it might differ from mine. So let's get right to it. So usually, what I do is I usually revise my notes before an exam, but something that I actually used to do a long time ago. I used to take my phone. I used to just leave it on record. And this will work, especially if you have a good phone. It will pick up really well. I leave it in my pocket, and throughout the entire lecture, I'm recording the lecture. And then once I'm studying, I listen to the lecture as I'm going through my notes. That really helps because now you're listening to it, you're seeing, your notes. Sometimes I may rewrite things down. That helps. Just using different motor skills and whatnot. That can really, really help. Another thing too is that I use now. I use this app called Notability. I don't know if you guys know about it, but it's about $10, but it's totally worth it though. It's a note taking app, and what it does is that it records as you writing. So basically, what it has that's the one of the features that it has that I like. Um, so it records as you're writing in the class. So once you're studying, you can see yourself write as you're listening to the professor, and it's like it syncs really well. So again, you're seeing it. You're hearing your professor, and usually it works on the iPad. So I know a lot of you guys might have iPads or whatnot. I'm not saying to go out there and buy an iPad, but those of you who already have an iPad, maybe you can use this as one of one of the ways that you can study is through Notability. So those are the couple tips that I have. One that I feel like a lot of people should know, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. It's not study way too late. Like, let's say your exam is on Friday. Don't start looking at it Thursday. I know that's harder. That's easier said than done because a lot of you guys are going to be taking a lot of courses, but just trying to manage yourself. And one way you can manage yourself is by having a planner. I myself have a planner, and I use it all the time to know exactly when an exam is coming through and when I should be start studying. And then you'll get a chance to learn about yourself throughout your 4 year experience because you'll know how long you need to study to do well on the exam. You see, so you'll know when to start studying for a class once you start taking classes. So that will come along the way, knowing exactly what how much time you need to study. Some people, they're real champs. All right, they don't really need much time. I myself do. So you'll get a chance to learn about yourself, and that's really what college is about. You learn about yourself, and you become better students, better and you'll get it. Kai, you have anything to say about studying tips and?
Yeah, I would say definitely try asking questions and staying engaged in class because a lot of people will zone out during class, and being able to be focused while you're taking notes really does help because you'll think about you'll read your paper once you're studying by yourself. You're like, oh yeah, this is that moment where I asked this question in class, and it makes it more personal to you. As a psych major, a lot of the things we do are memorization and writing. So just literally spending an hour just completely repeating something to myself until I get it and writing things down and saying it while I'm writing it helps me remember because most of my exams are all essay questions. So either I know it or I don't know it. So just taking the time a week beforehand and just every day doing even if you only have 10 minutes, those 10 minutes are going to help you out. So anytime you have during the day, maybe on your lunch break, just to take out your material and just read it out loud to yourself really helps.
Yeah, I think that was a really good tip. Just staying on top of things, like you said, even if you only have 10 minutes, in a day, just go over whatever you have to, basically handle your business. You know what I mean? I'm always handling my business. Like I was saying, I use my planner all the time to, I really like structure, so that's why I use a planner. And I think what she said was really, really helpful. So, and then another thing too, with the tips, it varies because it depends on the classes that you are taking. See, with me is that I'm a biology major, so I do have a lot of classes where I have to memorize, a large volume of information. So I'll use some of her tips But then there's some other classes that I'm taking. It's not really memory based, so I have to maybe understand something more. Maybe structurally or just just it's a little it's different than just reciting something or regurgitating it on exam day. Now the thing is, some it depends on you too, because some people they can't really they don't do well with memorization. So if that's you and you taking a class where there's a lot of memorization, like maybe a biology course or psychology, then you have to get better at it. And one way you can tell if a class is going to be more memory based is by looking at your syllabus, because you can tell what you guys are going to be going over, and maybe going through your textbook before the first day of class and seeing what kind of information they're throwing at you, because you can tell if it's going to be more memory or if it's going to be more things that you're going to be doing in class. Like let's say a lab, you're going to be more hands on. So memory, not really, but other classes you're going to need to be able to regurgitate the things on the material that you learn on exam day. So you got something to say?
Yeah, I would say also you can always find the smartest student in class and see what they're doing, because that also always helps. Or like even partnering with them to help you with like assignments and things. Like math is not my strong suit. I really suffer in math, and I did have a professor that just wasn't available for help. So I found the smartest kid in class and I said, hey, can we study together? And I saw the ways that they studied and the ways they explained information, and that helped me memorize and learn formulas a lot faster if I was just sitting there trying to figure it out myself.
It's funny. She's actually one of those smart kids that she's talking about. So don't let her fool you. But that's actually that was actually a really good tip actually. But what's funny, because that works, but you also have to know yourself too. Like I found out, I would say the end of my sophomore year, that I didn't do well in groups as far as like study groups, especially because most of my friends, they were funny guys. So there wasn't much studying going on. And also I naturally took over in most of the group, or probably all of the groups that I've ever been in, usually. So what ends up happening is that I'm talking about stuff that I already knew. So I'm not really learning too much. So now I pretty much study on my own now, because I learned that I don't really do too well in groups. So I study solo now. But that's actually a really good tip though. Finding someone who's the smartest guy or girl in class, because you can learn a lot about them, because they have that reputation because they know what they're doing, of course. So that was actually a really good tip. So the next question. It was about mental state. I'm going to let Kaya take this one first, just because she knows a little bit more about it than I do, just because she takes so many more classes than I do every semester, and she's a full-time worker, where I just pretty much I'm off school. She's the one that knows how to actually balance stuff, because she's working almost 40 hours a week and also taking like 20 credit. Credit hour courses. So I'll let her take this one.
Yeah, so college is going to be stressful. No matter how many credits you're taking or how much you're working, you're always going to get to a point where like maybe you didn't look at your planner that week, or you just had too much going on, and at the last minute you have like 2 12-page papers due, because again, psychology is a lot of papers. Last semester I had 1 week where I had 6 12-page papers due the same night. And it gets stressful, and sometimes that does build up, so it's nice to know ways to deal with stress, or even if you do have mental health issues, to work with those too. Having a really good support system and support group, friends, roommates, that can help you out and really like know when you need breaks. So last semester, again, before this whole COVID thing started, I got really stressed with the paper. My roommate noticed that and was like, hey, why don't we take a break, go get coffee, do something. It's nice to always step away when you're feeling overwhelmed, because honestly, when you're super stressed out, the work you're going to turn in is not going to be your best work. You need to take a break, step aside, and really like let your just mind be unclouded. Like even if that means you have like 5 minutes of you watching like a YouTube video, drinking a cup of coffee. Like as long as you have that tiny break so that you can go back, and having friends to give you accountability and like helping you take that break, or letting them know like, hey, I'm really stressed this week, or hey, this is how I'm feeling this week. really does help. So having that break and things like that, and being honest with yourself when you are overwhelmed. I know me, I'm a very I'm very prideful sometimes, and I think that, oh, I can work 40 hours this week and finish my 3-page papers, no problem. And I learned very quickly in college that I can't do that. So being honest with yourself and saying, hey, I'm looking at my planner, this is too much. What can I push aside? Maybe I do have to tell my manager, hey, this week I really can't work these many hours. And just working with that. And I know stress isn't the only thing college students deal with. As I was saying, emotional can mean a bunch of different things. Mental health is also a really big problem people deal with in college. Colleges do have counseling centers if you really do feel like you want to go that route. I know Don went to one and really liked it. If you don't want to go to a counseling center, again, support system. Have somebody you can be honest to. Be like, hey, I'm really dealing with depression. I'm dealing with these things. And having someone there that can keep an eye out for you and like maybe get you out of the house when you're in that situation where you're like so tired you can't get out of bed because you're fatigued from like whatever mental health issue you're dealing with. So just having a support system, being honest with yourself, taking breaks when you need to really does help.
Yes, I'm glad you brought the point about the counseling. You really take advantage of it, because in college that's going to be the only time that you're not going to be paying for counseling. A lot of the universities, they have counseling centers that you can go to. I myself, I have been to counseling, several times, just because it's really nice to talk to someone who knows how to talk to people. Their whole job is basically listening and listening to your situation and maybe giving you advice. So I took advantage of that, because I know once I leave, I'm not going to be able to get that for free. So, just like she was saying, having a support system. Now, good thing about George Snow is that, you do have a good, support system there already. But if you're not, as comfortable with staff members, even though they're really really good, you can have friends, just have that close connection with some people that you can trust, and tell them about whatever is going on. If you really stressed for this one week, you can talk to them about it. Well, I think that was a really good point that you brought up. So yeah.
And it's just like the little things too. When you're getting really stressed, especially like in school and things, or you are dealing with depression and stuff, maybe there's some days that you just like don't want to shower, you don't want to get out of bed and things like that. You may have the blinds closed. And just like taking little steps to change that day around really does help too. Like I notice, like I do suffer from depression, and it's nice, like some days I'll like really not want to get out of bed, and just getting up and forcing myself to get changed, get dressed for that day, open the blinds really does help. So if you are feeling like that in school, just like, okay, maybe there are days where you're just not going to go to class because of how you're feeling, and that is totally okay, as long as you do keep yourself accountable that you are still getting help for whatever you're dealing with. But taking that day for yourself is okay. Just make sure you're taking small steps to better yourself in whatever situation you're in.
Yes. So your sanity matters is number one, and then comes your academics. So you have to take care of yourself first. I want you guys to remember that, because you can lose yourself, just trying to handle a lot of things, and you forget to take care of yourself, doing the thing that you enjoy. I know I enjoy going to the gym. That's one thing I do. That's a hobby of mine. Just to get my mind away from things. Maybe one day I decide to binge watch Netflix. But just know that how exactly to balance things. One thing that I've been doing lately is that I've been studying in increments. So I study for an hour, and then 10 minutes I take a break, and I probably will go watch my favorite YouTuber for 10 minutes, and then I'll go back studying for 50 minutes, and then I take another 10-minute break and I study for 40 minutes. So and then the thing is, I know it's going to be the studying hour or the studying time is decreasing, so it gives me more motivation to keep going. And I know that after that 50 minutes or 40 minutes is done, I get to watch another, maybe a couple videos on YouTube, laugh a little bit. It's actually raining. But good thing that we're about to wrap it up anyway. Did you have anything else you want to say, guys?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, man. Keep and I know some of you guys still didn't respond. Maybe some of you guys are at work or whatnot. So whenever you see this video, you can still introduce yourself and ask questions. Not all of it is gonna be in video format. I was just here with Kaya, so I decided to make this one video. But yeah, and there's other people in the chat that can answer your questions. So feel free to ask questions. I'm an open book. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know. And yeah, cool. All right, bye bye.